everybody, I'm Darnell Cox with Live Young Lifestyle, and today we're talking about at-home skincare gadgets. It is a lot to unpack because there are so many gadgets on the market today. I devised a very easy to follow skincare gadget protocol that lets me fit in all of the different modalities within a monthly calendar. It's absolutely free. You can get it from liveyounglifestyle.com, but I will also have a link down below in the comment section, or the description section, that will give you access to this protocol and all the free protocols on liveyounglifestyle.com. I want to go through this skincare calendar with you guys so you can see how I incorporate all of the major modalities of skincare treatments that are available in skincare at-home gadgets, such as microneedling, red light therapy, microcurrent, radio frequency, DPL, even things like the eye restore helmet. And how do I fit this all in a way that doesn't exhaust the skin? Because there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. Too much of a good thing can actually damage your skin. So how do we fit it all in? I want to go over this with you. Every Sunday, there are some things that are like non-negotiable for me, right? And then there are just things that we play around with them a little bit. But the non-negotiables, like those things that are like, okay, no matter what, I need to get these two things in. That is microneedling and red light therapy. For me, those are the two big hitters in any good at-home skincare gadget routine. That's because they do so much for the skin. So when I talk about my monthly protocol, every Sunday, I do microneedling. Now, I don't microneedle my face every Sunday because if I did that, that would be very detrimental to my skin. When we start losing collagen in our mid-20s, we start by the time that our skeletal muscular frame is done growing, our collagen starts dipping by 1 to 3% a year, depending on your lifestyle factors, right? So do you drink? Do you smoke? How is your sleep? How is your stress? Are you moving your body? What supplements are you taking? There's a lot of things that either speed up or slow down the loss of collagen. Are you taking a collagen supplement, right? I have my favorite. I can get you a discount on that. Just comment the word collagen down there, or go to liveyounglifestyle.com and you can find that all in my Darnell's favorites. It's in the menu bar. You just click on the menu, click on protocols. You can get all the free protocols, including the skincare gadget calendar, and all of my favorites, like those products that I've been using for a long time. I stand by them. They're FDA cleared, FDA approved. There's lots of research that went into why do you choose a certain skincare gadget, right? So all of that is available on liveyounglifestyle.com, but I want to break it down to you here. So first, let's just talk about red light therapy, because I have been dabbling, playing around in the red light therapy field for over a decade now. I know it seems like it's new technology. It's not new technology. It's been around for a long time. In fact, it was first used by NASA in space when they were helping astronauts heal. So the research has been going on for a long time. I have been making a lot of money for a lot of male-centric companies for over a decade. I now have learned what I want in a red light therapy device and have come up with my own. It doesn't mean that I think that the other devices are bad. They are not. I just came up with one better. So we're going to talk a little bit about red light therapy. We're going to talk about microneedling, which I do every single week. Every Sunday, I microneedle a different body part. Why? Because it's so good for your skin. It literally creates microtraumas in your skin that call on your body to create its own collagen and elastin. So it changes the function of your skin. Just like red light therapy changes the function of your skin. It increases circulation, it decreases inflammation, it speeds up wound healing, fine lines and wrinkles. There's a lot that goes on with red light therapy. It can even grow hair. So there's a lot that goes on with this. Microcurrent, another one of my favorites. I do this a couple of times a week, and there's multiple devices that I like. Radio frequency I do a couple times a week as well. And then there's other little things that I like to play around with, but how do you fit it all in? Because like I said, if I microneedled my face every single week, it's like building a scaffolding of collagen up and then breaking it back down again before it's ever even solidified. It takes longer to heal from microneedling than what you would think. And the way that I can tell this is when I microneedle my stomach, by the way, you'll see that I have a big bandage on right now. That's because I microneedled a scar that I have. I have an umbilical hernia scar that's about this long, that's white. So I went to town on it yesterday working on that, as well as a scar that I have here where I fell off a barbed wire fence when I was little. It was literally like out of the movie Carrie. I came in from outside with the cows and horses and was bleeding from multiple places all over my body. And some of them were deeper than others, but a barbed wire fence, if anybody grew up on a farm, you know what that looks like. I was sitting on the wooden part and fell down over 3 layers of barbed wire. So I've got farm girl scars that I've been working on, and guess what? Microneedling helps with that. It helps with cellulite. It helps with scars. It helps with stretch marks. It helps with fine lines and wrinkles. It helps with a lot of different things and functions of the skin. So that's kind of a non-negotiable. But when it comes to the actual calendar, it's very important, everybody, that you're not exhausting your skin. Like I talked about the scaffolding before, about like you don't want to do anything that's going to cause your body to produce its own collagen and elastin by you're creating those traumas, and while it's building, you're cutting it back down again. You're traumatizing it again. You have to let that heal. And when I do my abdomen, because once a week I am microneedling. It's not always the same body part, like I said. So on one Sunday I'll do my face. The next Sunday I might do my abdomen. The following Sunday I might do my neck and chest. The Sunday after that, my knees. The Sunday after that, my hands. I've even done like the back of my arms. There's multiple places you can microneedle. Everywhere you have skin, you can microneedle. Your skin doesn't stop here, right? So if you've got crepey skin or thinned out skin, have you ever seen older people? And listen, at 57, I'm getting up there, but my father and people that are like in their 70s and 80s, they get that really, really crepey skin on the arms where anytime they just rub up against something, it starts bleeding. That is a complete loss of collagen and elastin in that skin, and the skin becomes crepey. Well, guess what? Microneedling builds up that collagen and elastin and actually thickens the skin. But when you use it when I do my abdomen, even 3 weeks later, if I do a spray tan, like I've got my own, I can't get into it, but I have my own like self tanner that I use at home. And it will, even though you can't see it with the naked eye, when you put a self tanner on, it kind of emphasizes all those little perforations in the skin, all those little micro traumas. And you can see when you put the color on that, oh, I'm not done healing. So if you're going to microneedle your abdomen or anything prior to going on vacation, and you know you're going to spray tan, it's not going to come out great. You want to give yourself at least a month in between microneedling to where you're not going to have any of those microscopic traumas in the skin that are going to show up and be emphasized more when you put color on to try to look better in a bathing suit, right? Everybody likes to be tan, but you don't want the damaging effects of the sun. So that's why I switched to self-tanners a long time ago. Now, just because you can get one of these professional devices like the Dr. Pen M8 that's for at-home use, doesn't mean that you have to go this big. This scares people. And listen, I get it. There's needles coming at your face. I understand. It's scary. You got a couple options. You can book a one-on-one with me and I will microneedle through Zoom. I do it all the time with clients. Or you can switch to something like a roller. This is a Gen Amber roller, sorry. And the reason why I like this is because you can cover a large surface area in a relatively quicker amount of time than you can if you're using a professional pen. Now, you're not going to get the same kind of treatment with this, but here's one thing that I want you to look out for. If you are using a roller, which sometimes I use a roller on big areas like my legs or whatever, I want you to look out for this. When you look at this roller on the side, you'll see that all the needles are individual needles. It's not on a track with a spoke. When you use the ones on a track with the spokes, what it does is it creates these inverted triangular perforations in the skin that is basically a little bit more trauma to the skin. Now, we're traumatizing the skin anyways, but it's not really the way that you want to do it. You want to aim for those perforations being as close to vertical as possible, as if it was a stamping technique. Now, with the Dr. Pen, there's new guidelines that they're using now, whereas if you're using this at a 0.5 millimeter or lower, like or shallower, you can do either the lawnmower technique or the little swirling technique, which I love. But if it's over 0.5, depending on the integrity of your skin, how much collagen it is in there, what your age is, the fragility of your skin, you want to, if it's over 0.5, which is a 0.5 millimeter, you want to do the stamping technique where you're lifting up the device each time. Now, do I follow that all the time? No, I don't, because my skin has a lot more health and integrity than it would for somebody else that might be my age. You know, I've been doing this stuff for a long time, and I've been doing it very, very consistently. So I devised this this calendar, this skincare gadget calendar, to be honest with you, first of all, to keep track of how I was microneedling. Because I wanted to make sure, oh wait, when was the last time I did my abs? When was the last time I did my neck? When was the last time I did my face? Because you don't want to exhaust the skin. You want that collagen to grow back, and then it becomes, here's the whole goal. It creates a wave of collagen production that's very similar to how our body was naturally producing collagen while we were still growing. So prior to 25, how much collagen we were producing, this way of integrating at-home skincare devices, all of which claim to stimulate collagen and elastin production, how do you do that in a weekly way where you're getting in things like microneedling, red light therapy, microcurrent, radio frequency, dry brushing, chemical peels, and all your active skincare in a way that is the most like your body was producing that collagen by itself, like when you were younger. That's creating younger functioning skin. And that's the goal, right? Now, for those of you who've made it this far for the video, who was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. She's gonna spend all that time on her skin, how vain. There's so many better things to do in life. Yeah, there are, but also skin is important. And I'm not gonna be shamed for taking care of it. It is our largest organ. Now, I know that oftentimes we only think of skin as like this barrier to keep everything else inside, but that's not all it does, right? It has a function of its own. And in addition to that, it is the first place that we see aging. Just because we have wrinkles and crepiness and, you know, sagging skin and all of that stuff doesn't mean that that's the only organ that's doing that. That shows up in your heart, that shows up in your lungs, that shows up in tissue, that's everywhere. Your bones, like everything is aging. It just shows up on your face first. And your skin is highly, highly correlated to your self-esteem. Not correlated to your self-esteem, that's the wrong way to say it. Your skin is connected with your self-esteem. And if you don't think that this is true, just think about like when you have like a really good hair day. And I mean like you just walked out of a salon hair day. Like you could be in a hair commercial hair day. The last thing you want to do is go home and sit your ass on a couch with a quart of Ben and Jerry's, right? You're like, hey, are any of my friends available for lunch? Like maybe I should take social media photos or whatever. Like it changes what you do with the day. The same thing is true with your skin. If you're not putting your best skin forward, and I don't mean like trying to have skin like it was when you were in your 20s. I am a postmenopausal 57-year-old woman, and I don't want to look like I'm 20. I want to look like the best version of 57 that I could possibly pull off. And I'm going to tell you this, because I know I'm going to get this question. What surgery? I have filmed every single thing that I have ever done. It's up on YouTube, for better or worse, but it's out there. And that said, you know, there's a lot of people that, and a lot of women in particular, that when another woman cares about what they look like or does stuff to their skin, whether it's surgically or whether it's using at-home stuff, they're shamed for it. I call bullshit on that, because your skin is associated with your self-esteem. And it's not about looking like it was when you were 25. And it's not about looking like the over-filtered, you know, Instagram people or YouTube people or social media in general. And it's not about trying to look like your best friend who might have great skin genetically. It's about putting your best skin forward, right? Because you know what? You don't walk into a room saying, have you seen my blood work? Do you know what my bone density is? Have you seen my cholesterol levels? You know, you don't do that. You walk in skin first. And so it is associated with our self-esteem. Did you ever, when you were in high school, have a big zit between your forehead? Did it make you want to go out that Saturday night to a big party? No, it didn't, right? If you were anything like me, you know, well, sometimes I do it anyways. But when I was younger, I didn't have that self-esteem. And so, you know, I would stay home that day with a big pimple patch over the top or a big glob of Clearasil, you know. It's tied to our self-esteem. And when we do the work, when we put in the time, and I don't mean hours and hours and hours, and is that all Darnell does all day is do stuff to her skin? No. I set up a George Jetson conveyor belt. That just told my age right there. Do you guys remember that George Jetson cartoon where he would just like go down the conveyor belt and his teeth would be brushed and he'd sit in a chair and his hair would be combed and they'd feed him some food? That's what I do across the board with all things related to aging and healthy aging habits, because I didn't go to school for this shit. I went to school for everything else. I went to school for all the inside stuff, right? I have a master's in psychology, so talk about inside. I also have a master's in gerontology that I didn't get until I was in my 50s at USC, the best gerontology school in the nation. I got to study under the same scientists that were my heroes, my rock stars, right? Those longevity scientists, Dr. Walter Longo and many more. And so that's what my schooling is. How do you sleep better? How do you reduce your stress? How do you improve cardiovascular health? How do you improve bone density? What supplements should you be on? What does stress do to your longevity? That's what I went to school for. That's gerontology. That's the study of aging. I didn't go to school for this. But I can tell you, your self-esteem is very much tied to your skin. And it messes with a lot of people, a lot of women, when they go through menopause and the wrinkles start coming and they're feeling like they were when they were 30, but they're looking like 60. And that can mess with your head. And it doesn't take a lot, you guys. I want to show you one of my clients. This is Marcia. We're gonna get to all this stuff too. This is Marcia. This is when I started working with Marcia. This is Marcia at age 60, and I'm gonna show you a close-up of her skin. This is Marcia at 61. So a year later, a year older, this is Marcia. I'm gonna show you the close-up because it's really profound what she's done. She laminated my skincare gadget protocol. She followed it every single day. And that was a year, 1 year difference. Let me show you again. And Marcia came to the Live Young Healthy Aging Retreat. I'm doing another one September 18th through the 21st in Malibu. And Marcia came to the retreat. I was so grateful that she did because she helped me teach the skincare gadget labs. We had all of this stuff at the retreat and Marcia helped teach, but I want to show you a close-up. This is Marcia at 60 and Marcia at 61. So just find a part, like just look at the, the texture here at 60 and then look at 61. 60, I hope this is showing up, 61. That is, I'm sorry, a remarkable difference. Remarkable. I want to see if maybe I can have these up there. I mean, just even look at the skin. It's the health of the skin. And that's what we're chasing here. We are not chasing perfection. There's nothing that's going to give me my 20-year-old skin back. Those days are gone. That ship has sailed. But I can have the very best version of a 57-year-old skin and the best functioning version, the best health for me, with all my genetics, with all of my, all of my lifestyle factors factored in there. This still makes a huge difference in how your skin functions. And if your skin is functioning younger, your skin is going to look younger. So again, this is still 61-year-old skin. This doesn't look like a 20-year-old. Marcia doesn't want to look like a 20-year-old. She wants to have the best skin that she can possibly have at her age, for her. That's what it's all about. Because when you want to feel your absolute best, no matter what your age, and that's what this channel is even about, right? I want to live to be 120. I really do. But I'm going to be honest, I don't ever want to feel like I'm 120. I don't want to function like I'm 120. And I certainly don't want to look like I'm 120. And so to devote 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes tops for me. Okay, let's talk red light therapy. Okay, probably the first device I ever got was a red light therapy mask because it helps with so many things. Now I've got the big panels that I use every morning. So after my cold plunge, I'm stepping in here to get a bunch of red light therapy. But I am also super obsessed with the masks. Why? Because they're so convenient and they really work when you wear them consistently, which is why it's super important that you've got a routine going down, right? But I have been working with red light therapy masks for over a decade now. I know it seems like it's new technology. I know that they're just now having commercials come out on TV, but I have been using these things for over a decade. I want to say 12 years. It's been a while. And so I still love them. I use them all the time. And if you can only afford or only want to invest in 2 different at-home skincare gadgets, it's going to be microneedling and red light therapy, because those are where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. That's where you're going to see the most improvement in your skin. Like I said earlier, I'm still developing my microneedling tool with a factory in Hong Kong. I'm hoping to have that out soon. I have already come up with, though, the Live Young 8-in-1 red light therapy mask. And this, my friends, is a complete game changer. It doesn't mean that if you've got the Omnilux that you should run out and buy another mask. This is a great mask. I've been affiliate marketing with Omnilux for a very long time. I love this mask. You'll notice something very different with this mask. This is a wireless mask with a wire because you have to charge this and then you connect this and then you put the mask on and then you wear it around. I'm going to tell you the problem that I have and why I came up with my own. Very different. Number one, I don't always wear jeans. I spend most of my days in sweats. I know, and workout clothes. What do you do with this? I was putting it in here, right? I was putting it in the waistband of my exercise pants. If you guys are wondering, I don't know if I said this already, but I did a little bit of scar revision on my scar from my umbilical hernia with that Dr. Pen M8. So that's why I've got this here in case you're wondering, in case I forgot to explain that. Anyways, when you're using this, the eye holes are super small. They just are. There's a lot of reasons why I came up with my own, but this is one of them. First, it's this. This is not wireless. Mine is completely, truly wireless. There's no wire. This is the battery pack that you charge on mine. Then it sticks right on the head. Boom, you walk around. There's nothing, you don't have to put any of these little things in your pockets or hold on to them. Another reason is the way that you put on most masks is very difficult for women, especially if you've got thin, fine hair like I do, because this Velcro thing has to come all the way off. You have to fish it through. You have to put this on your face and then put the whole thing back on. My hair gets tangled in this Velcro all the time. And it's not even putting it back on this mannequin. It's not the easiest, most convenient thing to do. I'm gonna show you my mask. This is the Live Young 8-in-1 LED, wireless LED mask. Now when I say wireless, I mean wireless. Here's how you put it on. Voila. That's it. The eye holes are bigger, so you can move through space better, right? When you put this on, it's hard to see. It's hard to see. You're kind of feeling around, but I will walk outside. I'll take the dog on a walk. I will go down the stairs, everything, because the eye holes are bigger and more feminine. That's just what I did because I'm a woman. So it is an 8-in-1 mask. It's the Live Young 8-in-1 wireless LED mask made by a woman for women. Let me show you. It's a little bit more feminine, the mouth. It's a little bit more feminine, the profile. It is more accustomed to women because women multitask a lot more than men do. You know? I don't want to sit down and like have to chill out and put a mask on. I got shit to do, like most of us, right? So I want to be able to be safe while I'm moving through the world, because as a postmenopausal woman at 57 years old, the last thing I want to do is fall, right? So this gives a bigger eye hole, a more ability to walk through space with unencumbered. It's got more lights than the OmniLux, and it's the same price. It's on sale right now with code July 4. So July and the number 4 will get you $49 off of it, so it comes out to $350. Super lightweight. It's much thinner. If I can get this to stay on here. It's much thinner than the OmniLux. So this is a thicker material. It's very difficult to put glasses on this because it'll just slide off. This you can wear, oh, sorry. With the Live Young 8-in-1 wireless mask, you can wear your readers, and you can also wear blue blocking glasses over the top of it if you wear it at night. In addition, it's got multiple colors. So I want to go through those really quickly. Like I said, one of the reasons why I developed this mask is the ease and comfort of putting it on. I'm going to put it on, take it off, show you guys how easy that is. That's how easily it comes off, okay? To charge it, you take this off, you charge this battery. Snap it back on. You can either, if you're wearing it and you want to do multiple sessions, take it off, figure out what color you want, snap it back on, there you go. It's a 5-minute or a 10-minute session. That's what it goes up to. And there's multiple colors. So I want to show you one of the other reasons why I developed this mask. Like I said, you cannot use, or you should be cautious of using a mask that combines both red and near infrared. And I've talked about this before in social media. If you combined red and near infrared, which is typical in a mask, not everybody's going to be able to use it. And I'll tell you why. Or not everybody should use it. When you combine red and near infrared, this is a 633 nanometers and I think an 850 nanometers. It's the near infrared that can trigger melasma. So if you've ever had melasma, if you were pregnant and you got melasma, if you've been on hormone replacement therapy and you got a little bit of discoloration or melasma, if you started birth control and you've got discoloration, if you know that you have had melasma in the past, melasma is not caused by heat, but is triggered by heat. So even infrared saunas are going to trigger melasma in some people. You need to be very careful of that. And I've had clients who had a lot of melasma, who I've worked with for melasma, who couldn't use the typical red light therapy mask. So what did I do? I separated the red and the near infrared. So you could do 10 minutes of red, you could do 10 minutes of near infrared, you could do 10 minutes of blue, whatever is your concern. So not all of the typical red light therapy masks that were on the market were addressing all of the concerns that I have and that I was also seeing in some of my clients. And one of those is I've got rosacea, which is part of the reason why it's caused a little bit of my dry eye situation. But I have rosacea. It's the green. When you get to the green color, I want to read you just about the green. The green is at a 530 nanometer, reduces age spots and hyperpigmentation, sunspots and uneven skin tone. So all of that treats sunspots. So can you put this on your arm? Absolutely, you can. Reduces age spots, hyperpigmentation, sunspots, and uneven skin tone. Soothes irritated skin, reduces redness. That's why I'm using it. Helps with conditions like rosacea. That's me. And eczema, and strengthens the skin barrier to make it more resilient to environmental stressors. Oh my God, let me say that again. Okay, it soothes irritated skin, reduces redness, helps with conditions like rosacea and eczema, and strengthens the skin barrier to make it more resilient to environmental stress. So if you have destroyed your skin barrier, like you put retinoids on your neck or something and eaten them up by battery acid, use green. It's going to help with all of that. Normalizes sebaceous glands to reduce blackhead formation and moderates oil production. Reduces headaches, migraines, and chronic pain. I'm not kidding. When I have a headache, which is rare, I put on green. In addition, it also helps to stimulate melatonin production, which is why my mask is downstairs. Well, I got multiple masks because I have access to multiple masks, but it's why my mask is downstairs when I start winding down and like watching my TV shows at night. I put on green. Why? Because it stimulates melatonin production. Last night I put this on and my husband wanted to watch a show and I literally fell asleep with my mask on. And my husband said, "Are you asleep with your mask on?" And it's true. It literally made me go to sleep. Okay, but there's lots of different colors on here and lots of different spectrums. If you really think about it, red and near infrared is not the only spectrums of light that are good for our skin. They're the most studied, they're the most common, but light in nanometers and wavelengths affects your skin in different ways, depending on the length of that wavelength. So for example, blue, which is at 465, let me get over to blue real quick. Oops, I just passed it. Hold on. There we go. Blue at 465 nanometers treats active acne by killing acne-causing bacteria, reduces acne scars, shrinks pores, repairs sensitive skin, improves the balance of skin's water and oil levels, and reduces seasonal affective disorder. So if you live in a place where you're not getting a lot of sun, wake up in the morning and put on blue light, right? It's like looking into, you have to be careful about one thing though, I have to say this. Don't use blue light at night. Just like when they warn you about like, don't look at your devices at night because it's gonna instantly stop melatonin production. A blue light mask does the same thing. So you only want to use blue light masks in the morning. And if you live in a place where you're not getting a lot of sun, where it's cloudy all the time and it decreases your mood, put on blue light in the morning, right? It will stop the melatonin production and help treat your seasonal affective disorder. There's lots of other wavelengths as well. Those are the three main ones that I use. I use red, I use near infrared, and I use green. Those are the main ones. But there's multiple things, multiple different treatments and different wavelengths, everything from red to near infrared, blue, orange, violet, cyan, green, amber. They all affect the skin in different ways. So do you need to buy another red light therapy mask if you already have a top of the line red light therapy mask? No, unless you have melasma and still want to use a mask, or you have other issues that you want to treat that don't have to do with fine lines and wrinkles and increasing circulation and wound healing. That's all in here too. But it has other light spectrums that have also been studied to improve the skin. So that's the Live Young 8-in-1 wireless LED mask. I'm pretty proud of it, I must say. In addition, there's other masks and stuff that we can use as well. Now, Omnilux makes a neck attachment. I think I have it here. I do. Omnilux makes a neck attachment. I'm still using this because I'm coming up with a very different shape for a red light therapy neck piece than what is currently on the market today. But am I still using this one? Yeah, I am. Because number one, I don't suffer from melasma and it works. So yes, I am using this. They also make a glove one, which I'm going to be coming out with a glove one too, but I want to do it without having to do a single hand at a time or have to buy two different devices. So there's things in the works, but red light therapy, to me, non-negotiable. And like I said, I've been doing red light therapy for over a decade. I'd have to go back and look at some of my first YouTube posts and my first Instagram posts when I started sharing about it. I used it for a year before that. So there's a lot with red light therapy, even hair growth. Red light therapy grows hair. Now, there's lots of different helmets on the market that help with hair growth, but none of them that are as good as this. I'm sorry, but that's just the reality. This is a combination of red lights as well as lasers. So it gets really deep, increases blood circulation. That's how this really works. Is it works to dilate those blood vessels and get more blood circulation to the scalp. No matter how many vitamins you take, if you do not have blood circulation to the scalp, you are wasting your money, you're taxing your kidneys to filter all that stuff out, and it's not getting to your hair follicles. You gotta have the blood circulation first for the vitamins and minerals and all of those other supplements to even work. This is the ticket, and I'll tell you why I love this, especially as a midlife woman. Women do not lose hair only here. Some do. Some have those receptors like male pattern baldness where that does thin out a little bit more there. But for the most part, women lose hair evenly all over the place. And this has a very extended side and back panel. It's not like a little hat, not like the little baseball caps, right? This extends back to almost to where the back of my neck is. That's what you want as a woman to cover, like to have hair growth, not just the baseball cap area. So I've been using iRestore. This is the professional device. I do have a link. I'll try to put it in the description below. I do have links to purchase that's going to be at a discount, but red light therapy is it's like magic. And it's not magic because it's science rooted, but it's effective. I can tell you right now. When you'll start seeing the results of red light therapy is about 30 days. So don't think you're going to put on a mask and take it off and then all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh, my skin is so much better. It's 30 days, the cycle of the skin to get to the surface. So if you start doing red light therapy now, every single day, in 30 days, you are going to see a giant difference in the health of your skin. Smaller pores, more even skin tone, reduced texture, reduction of fine lines and wrinkles. It's stimulating collagen. It's plain and simple. Okay, so that's red light therapy. Those are my top two. Microneedling, red light therapy. Top two, for sure, not even close. The panels that I like to use, I do like platinum LED, which is on this other side. You can't really see it, but I've got like a whole little alcove right here of panels on each side and one on the bottom. This is the brand that I like. I have no affiliation with them. I think that anybody can share a link for them and you put in like who referred you. So, but that's the one that I found to be the most heavy duty, the best one that I can find right now is the platinum LED. So loving that. On to microcurrent. When you look at my calendar, you'll see that microcurrent, I have it scheduled for once a week, but you can't really overdo microcurrent if you're doing it every day. Now you can sit here and you can be like, okay, how long can I do this? And what is this actually doing? And can I overstimulate and over-energize the cells? Yeah, you can. You can also ruin your Botox. I'm not saying that, you can't use microcurrent with Botox because I have Botox and I use microcurrent all the time. The way that I use it is I've got two devices that I absolutely love. Well, I've got three devices really that I absolutely love for microcurrent. And I use all three, depending on how much time I have. This is the Zip Halo. I love this because it fits in the palm of your hand. It's super easy to use. After I take my cold plunge and I stand here with my red light therapy panels, I've got a little ledge over there. I have my conductive gel over there. I'm doing a little bit of Zip microcurrent while I'm, drying off and getting red light therapy. So again, it's the George Jetson of conveyor belt of skincare, right? That doesn't take me any more time than it does to stand there for 20 minutes with my red light therapy panels. I'm getting this in as well. And this Zip is a combination of microcurrent, which works on the muscles, and nanocurrent, which works on the energy in the cell. And so they claim like after 30 days of using it like every day, you get like this halo effect, which is like bright, shiny skin. And I can tell you, it's true. It actually does work. I love it. It works a lot, I want to say, for lymphatic drainage, because anytime you're going out from your skin, right? And it's so easy to use because there'll be like a little buzz, and then you go to the next part. You use a conductive gel with this. If you get something like this and you're like, it's not working, it's because you don't have conductive gel. It needs conductive gel. You can even use like a water-based gel, like a hyaluronic acid, pure hyaluronic acid as a conductive gel if you want. But Zip actually makes a really nice conductive gel. I was actually shocked that I really like their conductive gel. So I'm using their conductive gel also with my radio frequency devices. But this is microcurrent. So this is Zip. This is the Zip Halo. It's on liveyounglifestyle.com under my favorites, along with the skincare gadget protocol. So if you want this skincare gadget protocol and you want to go see the website that has, multiple different things on it, it's my newsletter, it's the blog, it's my supplements, it's the red light mask, it's a lot of different stuff on there. My courses that are coming up, my retreat that's coming up. Go to liveyounglifestyle.com and you can find all of these free protocols. So not only did I do this one, but I did a microneedling protocol as well for free. It's a guidebook that kind of shows you the different needle lengths for each body part. And this gives you all of the safety tips. It gives you all of the my technique for each one, how deep I go on each body part. You do a different depth on when you're dealing with a scar on your stomach, for example, than you would your face or the delicate area around your eyes. So very important that you know what you're doing with the device. So these are all available for you free of charge at liveyounglifestyle.com. And I've done many tutorials on microneedling over the years. In fact, there's a big YouTube microneedling tutorial that I did, so make sure that you check that out. Okay, so microcurrent, like I said, I only do this it's on my schedule only once a week, but I Love microcurrent, and I try to do it as often as I can. It's just not as scheduled as my other stuff. I put it on here once a week so I don't forget, oh yeah, I gotta do microcurrent. Like I said, this is oftentimes I do in conjunction with red light therapy, but this is by far my favorite device. This is by Myolift. This is by 70 Wellness. This is the Myolift Mini. And this more looks like and functions like some of the ones that are done in med spas, right? If you go in for a microcurrent facial, it's done with a 2-probe system. Now, I'm gonna explain this. Things like the New Face is a 2-lobe system. This isn't the New Face, but it's a 2-lobe system, right? So all you can really do with this is a press and hold. Press, hold, wait for it to beep, press, hold, wait for it to beep, which works great. Same with this one. It's going outward, press, hold, wait for it to beep, press, hold, wait for it to beep. You know, pretty standard stuff. Chisel out here, wait for it to beep. This is very different. This by 70 Wellness, this is the Myolift Mini. This is a 2-probe system, not a 2-lobe system. And this gives you better control and really gives you a better kind of treatment because you can really manipulate these a lot better. So the pinch and hold technique is going to be very different than the press and hold technique. This is a press and hold. This you can pinch, right? So in addition, it has an erase mode. And if you don't get Botox, which I get Botox, 57 years old, I've been doing Botox since I was in my 30s. It is preventative. And you know, some people don't like a smooth forehead. I actually like a smooth forehead. Some people don't like the look of Botox. I actually feel like it has prevented a lot of crow's feet. It's prevented my 11s. It's prevented a lot of stuff so that even when my Botox wears off, I don't have those permanently etched lines like I would have if I didn't, if I wasn't doing Botox. So this, I love this because you can also use it as a pull apart. So any sort of horizontal necklines that you have, you can pull them apart, and it's called the erase mode. You can only do that in a device that has 2 probes as opposed to 2 lobes. So that's microcurrent. The last thing I wanted to talk about in terms of modalities was radio frequency. Now this is the Lumo by Even Skin. I love this, although this company was bought out by another company. I'm not even sure who's in charge now. I have no affiliation with them, but I have to say, I love their radio frequency device. Now, the thing I need you to be careful of is radio frequency heats up the dermis. So it bypasses the epidermis, which is that outer layer of the skin, and gets into the dermis to heat it up between 20 and 23 degrees Celsius. That's pretty freaking hot. If you know anything about fat cells are fragile. I know it doesn't seem like that for many of us. You know, we're like, oh my God, the stubborn fat. But in actuality, fat cells are very sensitive to temperature changes. That's why remember the cool sculpting where you would put some, I've never had it done, but I did film it with one of my friends on YouTube early in the days. But that's where you like sandwich a big roll of fat into a device and then they freeze it, right? It's like a brick. The goal of that is to damage just the little tiny bit of that cell membrane, and then it kills the whole fat cell, but it doesn't empty its contents for about 4 to 6 weeks. So if I were to take a radio frequency device and not pay attention to the directions and be like watching TV and just kind of like, oh, I hardly feel this, I'm just gonna like leave it here. Because you won't feel it the way that you won't feel it as warm as what the heat is distributed inside the dermis. That makes sense. I think that does. To the epidermis, you will not feel as hot as it's going to get when it's inside that target area to stimulate collagen. Does this device work? Absolutely. What is it good for? Tightening around the jowl area and lifting. But I would never go over my fat pads with it. I don't care what the company tells you it does or doesn't do to fat. It has the potential to damage fat cells. And as somebody who is in my mid to later 50s, fat in your face is imperative. You don't want to get rid of that. You don't want to get rid of the cheekbones here, right? You don't want to get rid of those fat pads. You don't want to get rid of the fat pads underneath. And I want to tell you something where I screwed up. And I've been playing in this, sandbox for a very long time. Like I said, over a decade. It might be 12 years. I'll have to go back and look. But that said, I know the potential of melting fat unintentionally. And still, I did a big no-no this last few months because I was treating dry eyes. And like many things in menopause, dry eyes is one of those symptoms. Menopause is just like that gift that keeps on giving. But dry eyes is part of that. Just like everything else kind of dries up, your eyes dry up too sometimes for a lot of people when they go through menopause. That said, the treatment was to grow back my oil glands on the bottom. They're called meibomian glands. And we wanted to grow those back because they were compacted and then it killed them. So we were trying to grow them back because I didn't want to be the old lady with a tissue in my pocket all the time and eye drops. I'm like, that's my life? I don't know if I want to do that. I want to try something else. Let's see what we can do. So I went to an eye doctor and they've been doing IPL around the eye. IPL this is a dual pulse light laser. Let me see if I can plug this in. I can just show you kind of how intense the light is. This is a home version. This is by Jove's. Again, this is in my all-time favorites too on my website. You can also just comment the word Jove's and it'll give you the link. But this, I'll show you how bright it is, just so you get an idea. So this helps with sunspots, with hyperpigmentation, broken capillaries, anything like that. It will reduce pore size, it will help with rosacea. So I'm using this on my face 2 times a week. It's not on the current calendar because it is a newer device that I started using, but I can tell you where I use it. I use it every Monday and every Thursday, assuming that I did not microneedle my face that week. So on the weeks where I do not microneedle my face, I will use it where it says red light therapy mask, because yes, you can use a red light therapy mask and then do something like this, as long as it doesn't have, you're not doing the near infrared, right? Because you don't want heat and heat. Again, you have to be careful when you have melasma. Test it way back here. Test it way back here and then wait. Don't get impatient. Just wait a little bit and see if it doesn't trigger any melasma. If it doesn't, then you're safer to use it on your whole face. But that's how I'm using this. So I went in for dry eyes and the ophthalmologist was doing IPL around the eye to melt the clogged oil in the glands and then express it. Disgusting. I know, it's really gross. But that said, I don't know what I was thinking. I dropped the ball for a second. I know better than to add heat around areas where I need fat. But I was so miserable with my dry eyes, I'm like, you know what? I don't think it's gonna do that. Like, somebody else would have complained. Nobody else complained, but I'm complaining because the IPL melted fat around my eyes. And up until now, at 57 years old, I haven't had a lower bleph, I hadn't had an upper bleph. I attribute my lack of crow's feet to microneedling, to red light therapy, and to effective skincare. Now I'm going to have to put fat, well, I don't have to, but I'm going to transfer fat back into that area that was melted by heat. So when you're talking about heat with radio frequency devices or things like the near laser, you got to be super careful that you're not damaging that fragile fat cell membrane. I know it feels like that stubborn fat, it's so hard to get rid of, but it's super sensitive to changes in temperature. And all you need to do is damage a little bit of that cell membrane, and over time, the fat cells will end up dumping their contents and dying. And that's what's kind of happened around my eyes. So you want to be super, super careful. Again, that goes back to why do it in a specific order and why do you need a calendar? Because you don't want to compound heat upon heat, right? You don't want to do something like, let's do the Jove's professional DPL device, which is heat, and then let's go right over the top of it with radio frequency, which is more heat. You don't want to do that. And you don't want to do a device like this, like a radio frequency device. My other one is the Tripolar X. I just couldn't find it this morning. I think my daughter might have used it, I'm not sure. But you don't want to compound that, and you also don't want to like sit there and not pay attention watching TV and just keep going and going and going, because you will melt fat. I don't care what the company says. It is a possibility to do that, okay? So those are the main things that I do. It's red light therapy, it's microneedling, it's microcurrent, it's radio frequency, dry brushing. You would be shocked what you can do for your skin just by dry brushing. I've got one of these in the bathtub. Hold on one second, let's grab this. I've got this bath brush in the bathtub. So I do this wet, but before I cold plunge every morning, I do a dry brush. So I dry brush the skin, right? Heading towards the lymph nodes. I've done lots of different content on dry brushing. Helps with lymphatic drainage, wakes up the skin, exfoliates, increases circulation. Sound familiar? Like there's a lot of stuff that is like, it doesn't cost a ton of money to do. So that's it. That's basically the Live Young skincare gadget protocol. And it's free on liveyounglifestyle.com. I'll also have the link below. If you're on Instagram, you can comment the word protocol below, and that will get you a link to this calendar. You can also comment any of the modalities that I used. So if you're on Instagram and you comment radio frequency, it'll give you my 3 top radio frequency devices. If you're on Instagram and you comment microcurrent, it'll give you my 3 top microcurrent devices. The same with red light mask. Listen, these are still in there. This is a laser mask. It's different, but my God, it's so claustrophobic. I can't wear it. It's hard for me to wear. But I give you options as well, even on products that I'm creating. So that's it. That is the Live Young, I know, very extensive, bordering on lunacy skincare gadget protocol, but it does not take long. It does not have to be complicated. I've broken it all down for you, and it's absolutely free. If you've learned anything from this video, if you please give it a like, please hit that subscribe button and hit that little alert button as well, so that when I post a new video, you're the first to know, and it's gonna happen every Saturday. So thank you so much for being here. I could not do this without you. It means the world to me. Love you all. Thank you so much. Not aiming for perfection, but aiming for real results with healthier, functioning skin. That's a really good way to live young.